This is a thoracic vertebra, and I can tell because this part right here, the spinous process, points down. It's kind of sharp and pointy. And other parts to the vertebra you can see on all the vertebrae in the body. Yeah, this the spinous process, the transverse process. This one's called an articular process. It articulates with the next vertebrae, and it's a superior articular process. The spinous process points down, so that's inferior surface and superior surface. So superior articular process, this flat face where it actually connects to the other bone, the other vertebra, that's a superior articular facet. This is the body of the vertebra. It's on all the vertebra. And the space is a vertebral foramen, where the spinal cord passes through. On the side, this little groove right here is called the intervertebral foramen. That's where spinal nerve comes off between the vertebrae. And you can also see this little part that's sticking out. That's the inferior articular process. And the flat face, this posterior, is the inferior articular facet, or fossa. And this is a thoracic vertebra. You can see these little flat spots right here. These are the articular facets for the ribs. This is where the ribs attach. We also have other vertebrae. These are cervical vertebrae. And the main way you can tell it's a cervical vertebra is you have these transverse foramen, these holes on the sides. The other vertebrae, the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae, don't have those. And this one is a typical cervical vertebra, number 3 through 7. But number 1 and 2 have unique shapes, and they have unique names. This one is the atlas. It's right underneath the skull. This is where the foramen magnum would attach. On the occipital bone, there are a couple of little raised bumps called occipital condyles. That's where those would attach. And the atlas has kind of a unique shape. Cervical vertebra number 2 is the axis, and that part's called the dens or odontoid process. That's a superior articular facet, spinous process. And we have a lumbar vertebra. And the way you can tell it's a lumbar vertebra, the spinous process is really blunt. And again, you have the superior articular process, the superior articular facet, inferior articular process, inferior articular facet, intervertebral foramen, vertebral foramen, body.